Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to some more Lost in the Pond, and this one is 5 admittedly silly benefits of being a Brit in America. And we're going to see, this is an older video of his. I don't know if I've reacted to videos of his this long ago. I must have, to be fair, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how different it is, because I mean, I've been doing a lot of his more recent reactions recently, and I've not reacted to things this far back, I don't think. But we're going to check this out and see the benefits. I mean, I guess having the accent, some people have to sort of find it quite as a bit of a charm. I don't know what things you could get from it. I mean, I don't think you're going to get any more perks of day-to-day life, but I could be wrong. We're going to check this out and see. I'm hopefully going to enjoy. Links are in the description to my Patreon, where I do movie reactions and TV series reactions. And let's check this out.
Sorry, he drains kippers on the washing line. Who does that? That is... Oh, hello. Welcome to Lost in the Pond. I've noticed recently that we've been getting a lot of new followers. And a lot of you have been coming from the UK. So I thought, well, what better way to introduce you to my channel and what I'm all about than to tell you 5 reasons why it's great being a British person living in America. So, you know, whatever you might think politically about America right now, this is not that.
I wonder what his demographic is of like Americans and British people watching his videos. It's probably like, what, 75% American, 25% English, maybe like 80% American, 20%, or British, sorry.
Covering any of that. I'm just talking about things that I think have sort of benefited me as a person living in America for the last 8/9 years. And they, in no particular order, actually the order is very particular, they are these, starting with this one, number 5.
You're suddenly likable. Fair enough. Or dislikable, probably. It probably works both ways.
That's right. People just automatically like you. There's a deep fascination with British heritage, British history, and of course the British accent over here. To where, you know, when you use it, I think that you've all automatically got an in. So you don't have to pretend to be something you're not. You turn up and be exactly what you are, and that is, you know, something that is admired here. It still feels weird to me. I mean, they treat me like I'm Prince William at times, even though I'm not. I'm Prince William's cousin. That's a joke, but I have told some people that it is true. Now, I should say I am generalizing here. I mean, there are Americans out there that couldn't give 2 hoots that I'm British or whatnot, and that's fine, you know. But of course, there are practical reasons why it's great living in the United States, and that brings me on to point number 2.
Common language, yeah. I mean, that's probably a convenient thing for a lot of people to move to other countries. If it's a country that speaks the same language, that's just an added bonus, really, because a lot of the time, if you're moving to another country, that's not going to be the case.
Now, don't get me wrong, I am all for learning a new language. In fact, the truth is, you kind of have to when you move to America, because there are so many different nuances. You know, so it is more than just the difference between the spelling of colour that you have to endure. You'll find, actually, there are so many word differences, spelling differences, pronunciation differences, with which you were not previously familiar. I came to learn those. I'm still learning them. There's new ones crop up all the time. But that said, it is still a form of English that you are moving into. And so you can absolutely very easily hold a conversation with somebody straight away. There's no learning curve. Now, again, I'm all for learning a new language. That's a different thing. If I moved to France, I would want to learn French and go through that. But that challenge, if you don't want it, America is a great place to go. It's particularly interesting because, as I said previously, while they're gawking at your accent, a lot of the time they are left mystified, Americans, by something you've just said. It would be a lie to say there aren't any kind of lost in translation moments. They do exist. But whether or not you are displaying words that are unintelligible to the American ear, you will still be thought of as the following.
You're suddenly intelligent. Damn. I mean, I'm sure now people know me, that wouldn't necessarily be the case. But I don't know why this is. Why does the accent even have that sort of... Why, like, is it because maybe in like films and stuff, typically maybe the British accent will be used for like a doctor? I don't know if that's actually true, but like in a lot of films that'll be the case. Like the detective will be British or like something like that. Is that why? I don't really know, but or maybe like Sherlock Holmes and all that sort of stuff. Maybe that's to do with it, but I do find it quite funny because some British accents you would not think that 100%, bro. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what accent specifically, but just a lot of different UK accents that would not be the case, for sure.
I've hoodwinked an entire nation into thinking that I'm a very smart man, just by virtue of the way I speak. There is this belief, and people have said it to me many a time. You sound so intelligent, or I've made this assumption that you're well read, you're learned. And once they find out the truth, this show is over. It's done. And so it kind of again elevates you to this level that you probably wouldn't have been elevated to back in England. People don't think you have these super cerebral powers like they do here. So the pressure's on to prove that you are smart. That said, I think I've almost become more intelligent since moving here, or at least more curious about a lot of things. So history has become a big part of my day-to-day hobbies. In fact, when I look back at the UK now, I look at it with almost through American eyes, with this kind of curiosity that I never previously had. I always took the history of Britain for granted. And now that I look back at it, with pride, I think.
You're suddenly funny. What, because they laugh at your accent? Is that why?
So just as the perception around your intelligence gets elevated because of your accent, so do your jokes, right? You could tell the worst joke in the world.
Come on, Lawrence, you're just a funny guy. I'm sure it's not your accent. I'm sure it's nothing to do with that, man. Big yourself up, it's your jokes. It's your jokes.
Like the Doctor Who one. Knock, knock, who's there? Doctor Who, you just said it. Ha, 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 hilarious. But if you say that
Classic.
with a British accent and perhaps, a furrowed brow, then you're going to get giggles beyond every measure that you can even imagine. It's kind of nice, it's a nice icebreaker at parties. You go to a party, people think you're really intelligent, and they also, yes, think you're hilarious. Just be careful with that, though, because some of the shit jokes don't work. For instance, why was the beach wet? Because the seaweed, Americans don't really use the term weed, as in to take a piss. This is getting really gross. I'm not really sure why. But whenever you say anything, you have another get out clause, and that is this.
It's a British thing. Okay, I'm listening.
If I do something really stupid that I'm very ashamed or embarrassed of, I can excuse it by saying, it's just a British thing. We do this all the time back home. When I entered the library in downtown Chicago stark naked, that's the excuse I gave them.
Oh, fair enough. You know what? Yeah. To be fair, that is a British thing, so you know what.
Then, the police were having none of it, sadly. And Chicago police are quite rough. So it was 3 days until I got out of jail. But of course, this is genuinely true when it comes to making mushy peas or all manner of British cuisine that Americans sort of usually find quite abhorrent.
I don't like mushy peas, to be fair. It's a very British thing, but I do not like them.
Although I have met some Americans that are rather in favour of, British food. But either way, you can explain that away by saying it's a British thing. Don't hold it against me. Don't judge. If you find yourself apologising to a cash machine or putting tea on your sandwiches, you can still explain it away. And that is a very nice get out. And those are my 5 silly reasons that it is great being a British person.
I mean, it's definitely looking like it's a lot more pros and cons than living here in terms of being a British person, because you stand out a bit more, which I guess is a fact. But I guess that would be the same if you're an American living in the UK as well. But yeah, good as I can relate to all of this, there is no greater sense of deflation than arriving back in England, having been in the States, to the realisation that you're no longer a god among men. I am British, and to me, you still sound smarter than 95. Yeah, he does sound like he's smart. He's a smart person, to be fair. British accents make you sound intelligent. This is the one that I was thinking of. Birmingham has left the chat. There's no way a Brahmin in the US, or I don't know, just certain accents. I'm not even going to shoot for people from Birmingham, but just different accents. It's just a lot of the typical stereotypical accent, quite posh and quite sort of, I don't know, just it is what it is. A lot of like the Queen's English sort of accent. I guess that's the one they're talking about, because if there's other accents there, that's definitely not the case. But hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and until next time, peace.